fenirob here with Evil Jeff, the one and only. We just played Ark Nova for the first time, 2-player game, and we're going to give you our first impressions. Jeff, what do you think? This is your baby. You made me play this.
I know, I did make you play it. I've been watching it, and it's getting a lot of hype out there, and I felt like this is the kind of game that I would have some fun and enjoyment with because it's got a great theme. The icons are very interesting, and so is the artwork and the player board and the way it plays, and it's just building a zoo. It just appeals because everybody knows what a zoo's like,
Right.
And so it's fun to build a zoo. I will say that it is long, and I think most people that have seen some reviews out there have found the same, that it is a very Euro-y, long game because you're taking actions that are, you're building an engine and it starts a little slow, right? So you're going slow at first, but then it starts to build steam, a little later in the game, and then you can come across the finish line pretty quickly towards the end. But one of the things that I struggled with my scoring on this, or my gaming on this, although I had a ton of fun, I was a little frustrated with not getting the cards that I needed. I wound up in a situation where I had some objectives that were built around herbivores and a few other goals, like getting a lot of associations. And what happened was I got a lot of sponsorships.
Right.
A lot of sponsorships. I had goals for that. Sponsorships, every single one of them that came out just about for 3/4 of the game were level 5.
Right.
So it's hard to get your sponsorship card up to level 5, over and over again that fast. So that was a little frustrating. But then also, I was getting a lot of not level 5s, but corral size or pen size animals at level 5 also when I was drawing cards. And inevitably they wound up, I had some pretty big pens, but one of them was not in the right location. It needed to be near water. So I had an elephant, for example, and I had already used a level 5 pen for other level 5s that I got, and then I couldn't play it. So now I'm sitting there on cards that I couldn't play. So surprisingly, with as bad as I thought my card drawing was, it still wasn't overall that bad. I mean, I lost by a bit, but I still had fun doing it. And I think that I just don't know where in the strategy you need to shift gears if it's not working for you.
I don't know either in that regard. I think I was scared to death that you were going to end the game because your pieces were closer from the reputation and the was it appeal?
Yeah, the park appeal.
Yeah, and it turned out though, because you ended the game, I got the one extra turn that actually garnered me some serious points. But I was worried that I had built this whole engine, and my objective was having at least 10 small animals, which I got, I think, 12 or more.
Yeah, and would you agree that a lot of small animals were coming out?
Yeah,
over
and I don't know the distribution in the deck. I mean, there's hundreds of cards.
Yeah.
So I don't know the distribution of the deck, but it did seem like, now, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the bigger animals.
Yeah, and I wasn't competing with you.
Right.
You were taking small animals, I was taking big animals, but I wasn't taking them, I was getting them. But that is the luck of the draw,
Right. Well, I can see how it could be frustrating if you didn't get the cards you need. For me, I tended to get cards that were at least usable. They might not have been optimal, but they at least got me somewhere. And usually when I play a game that's this heavy, I'm going to, like for the first few times, I'm going to pick one thing. Like Rado suggested that, if you look at your objective cards and just choose something and sort of work your way towards that, the path will become a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
And for me, that turned out to be sound advice, I think.
Yeah, I think it worked for you. I think that because the way the cards came out and your objectives were small animals, and we got a lot of small animals coming out, I think it played right into your hand perfectly.
And I was able to actually build. I completed my zoo. So I got the 7 points for that, and then I also got the engineer. You probably weren't even paying attention to the engineer.
No.
Because yours was kind of a bit discombobulated.
It was.
It almost seemed like you had too many choice. When you play, you're always looking for optimal. You'd like to have that engine all built up and everything in order, and then you zoom to the end. Here it seemed like you were a little bit unbalanced at times during the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, because my objectives that I had were really revolving around the conservation projects here, which was, of course, herbivores, and I had a few in my hand early, and that started to pay off, but then over time they weren't coming out.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you got almost all of those, and I got none of them.
Well, and look at all the contributions I made over in conservation.
I mean, you were all over the association thing, and I
Right.
thought for sure that engine was going to take it.
Yeah, and where it fell apart for me, I believe, is again the objectives that I had early. That, you know, if you go with the approach that was, you know, that you used, which is, hey, this is what I'm going to try to go for. That's what I was doing. I was going for associations or sponsorships rather, and I was also going for herbivores primarily, but I was also looking for other trends. But again, I was getting extremely large animals overall into my hands. I mean, here's 3 of the cards that were left in my hand at the end here. I've got, you know, a level 5 pen for saltwater crocodile, and it required some relationships that I didn't have.
And 23 money.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, you know, I had another 5 level pen enclosure for...
And not only that, just to point out, you also needed to have a reptile house, which you didn't even have.
No, you could have a reptile house or a level 5 enclosure. Yeah. And, you know, this one was for primates, but you needed to have 3 primates already in your zoo.
Primates were very scarce. I'll tell you that. There were not a lot of them and that happened to be one of the association cards.
Yeah. There were a lot of birds coming out, and in retrospect, it would have been nice maybe to head that direction, but how do you know?
Well, none of the associations wanted you to do that,
right?
And neither of my objective cards called for that. So
same here.
I mean, the birds, I think I had maybe 1 bird in my whole zoo.
Yeah. No, you beat me by quite a bit, but I don't necessarily attribute it to bad playing. I think it boiled down a lot to I just didn't get the cards. But again, I had fun. It was I enjoy building this. And so I lost, and we spent a fair amount of time, but you know, for us it's, you know, we like to play games together, and we get to, you know, rib each other, and that's all good and fun, and so that's worth spending time anyway. But it just is even more satisfying when you can build something and you have some engine going, even though some of the cards didn't come out the way I wanted them to. It still felt satisfying.
I agree with that, and I mean, let's not pretend that this game isn't getting a lot of buzz, and it seems to be universally loved. Mm-hmm. These are not normally the types of games that I would play, simply because it did take a long time, and it's not even a complaint. Yeah. I mean, it took us 3 hours to play, but this is the first time we've played it.
First time, yeah.
But I don't think it's learning the mechanics that would be the issue. Both of us looked up the rules and read. I mean, I watched several videos.
Most of it we knew in advance.
I think it's the decisions that actually start to grind you, because you have so many fronts. You've got Tetris-type Barren Park, Terraforming Mars, whatever kind of Uwe Rosenberg type game you've got, where you've got like tactile, you know, spatial, building a puzzle.
Yeah.
Then you have this whole action selection thing, which is right out of Civilization New Dawn, which is a very cool mechanic. but it does kind of hamstring you. Now, I thought I had mine moving in a pretty decent revolving manner to do things that I wanted to. I wasn't frustrated that often.
Right.
It seemed like a few times you ran into a bind of things you wanted to do,
I couldn't do
but it wasn't time for them.
Right.
And I kind of just went with the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Just kept hammering the same nail.
It felt like I wasn't as efficient. Although the track looked like it was still close.
It was.
But the end scoring objectives were not being met on my side where they were on your side.
Then you've got things like the association, which are sort of like building alliances with an imaginary player that's not there. That gives you bonuses as the game goes on. But again, those are also dictated by what cards might come out. And then you've almost got this sort of race thing. You kind of control when the game will end.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I wanted it to end. I didn't know if I had enough points.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like the old video game Missile Command, or a tower defensive strategy is what I call it, where there's several fronts that you're kind of trying to keep command of. There were many times during the game where I was looking to see how far away you were on one track from the other to see if we were in the same ballpark.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was close, and then all of a sudden at the end, it was like a 18-point swing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that once you play the game a couple times, you're going to have a good feel for where you're at, because this being our first time, we really didn't know.
And another thing that we thought about, it did remind us slightly somehow of Dominant Species.
Yeah.
And we weren't even playing with the really mean cards. Whenever we got the mean cards, we were using the solo variant.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of had the feeling of this take that attack type thing. And there was something about the way you just keep taking turn after turn after turn, but because of the break, it sort of triggers like a maintenance thing that reminded me of Dominant Species Marine.
Right.
You just keep taking turn after turn, but there's times where you have to kind of take a time out.
Reset.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would totally play this game again. I think the buzz is warranted for it, just based on the playing Terraforming Mars Ares.
Ares Expedition.
Right.
Yeah,
and I've seen the base game of Terraforming Mars played multiple times. This seems to me more up my alley because I felt like I was building something of my own as opposed to contributing to a board where everybody was building, and I kind of felt like I made more progress there.
Yeah, I've played Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition several times, and it plays much faster than this. So if you're looking for something that is very quick, when I say quick comparatively to this, it fits that bill, but it does not have anywhere near the thematic nature that this one does with the animals and categories of them and the icons that you're trying to collect. I mean, it's a lot of set collection.
I think Terraforming Mars is thematic. I just think that this theme...
Not the Ares edition, though, or the Ares Expedition as much.
It's all right as far as theme goes. The cards kind of make sense thematically.
Sure. I like it.
But I feel like this theme is more universal.
Yeah.
If I'm exploring, if I'm doing something, I don't want to terraform another planet.
Right.
I want to attack alien civilizations and expand and 4X it.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. The only downfall is finding the time to devote to it. It's almost like a Saturday morning kind of thing because you're going to play several hours, especially if you're going to have several players.
And if you're a Euro gamer that's looking for something epic strategically, this to me is like, if I was going to play for us, I think a game like Eclipse or no one knows the game, but New Dawn, something where you're taking a few hours, but it seems like I want to have a conquest. I want to build a civilization with some sort of attacking.
Right. That's the one thing about this is that there is no
interaction. Is basically taking cards
filling up something. Yeah, there's no I'm building my civilization and I'm going to have to take over, conquest you.
Like Clash of Cultures.
Yeah. And so this is just purely who can build the best zoo.
Yeah.
And be the most efficient and effective at doing it. And some of that, again, is dependent on the cards. Obviously, there's a lot of decisions to make too, which does become a slowdown mechanism. It
Right.
just really slows the process down because there's a lot of APing. But overall, I enjoy it.
I'll
It's
totally
fun.
play it again. I'll give you a rematch. You can whip my butt. It'll be fine. I give this, I do not begrudge sometimes games are hyped. Sometimes games are hyped and they don't fill the expectations for me. This one, I completely understand the hype for it. It deserves every bit of it. And I would play it anytime we have 4 hours and don't want to attack each other.
It's truly amazing when you think about the guy, and I don't know the person that built it or
Right.
made it, but apparently
It's his first
time.
Matthias.
And it's just like, wow, what an amazing job you did.
You took some different mechanics from other games that exist somewhat and kind of made like, what if I took these things and put them in one package and it also is great.
Yeah, but the rule book's good, the iconology is good, the components are good. I mean, everything about it is like, wow, nice job.
Great job. Well, that is our first impressions of Ark Nova.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. Please like the video and
Thumbs up.
subscribe to the channel.
All right.
I'm sure people will disagree with us, but
Well,
it doesn't
that's
matter.
okay. I don't care. That's my opinion, and I can stick to it.